Live from Dunamis Church, this is Today at Dunamis. Is your car in trouble? Is your teenager running wild? This and more on Today at Dunamis. I'm your co-host Ed, and let's welcome our host, Shaun ED.
Here we are today to talk life at Dunamis.
Hey everyone, hello. Hey Shaun, hello.
Hello, my friend. Hello. Hello, Eric on Switch.
Hey Erica on Switcher.
2 hands, please. She had to do a switch in the area there. Hello, Jeff. Good to have you online with us. So, anyhow, it's great to be here today.
It's good to be here, Shaun.
It's always good to have a day where we're here.
Yes, it's always fun. I love doing this show.
So, are we going to be doing? Well, first we're going to do our current news and everything else.
Yes.
But once that's done, we had a prayer meeting.
Yeah, the prayer night. Yeah,
prayer night. You would have liked it.
I would have if I had to have a meeting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as
Next
the Bible says, somebody got to go to a wedding, some people got to get a cow, some people got to plow a field.
Ah, yes. I was thinking there's a time for life, there's a time for death. I'm just kidding.
No, it's okay. But no, I felt in our organized prayer Tuesday week back,
Yes.
which is always great, the team rally in prayer, that I just really wanted to put a stronger emphasis in prayer, sort of like what I call my old school style. Does that make sense? You wouldn't know. You went there.
I wasn't into revival in
I
the
don't
70s.
use the word revival.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't use
I
that
will
word.
always say that just because I know you're going to say that.
I know. It's just a thing I have a little bit for accuracy.
Yeah.
So, but anyhow, so I just felt God speak to me for the month of February, just to go all the way through.
Yes.
So, which is only a couple of weeks left of that.
Yeah.
But it was just I thought it would just be like me and Shane, because Sandra has bad English there, Shane and I. Sandra has her G-Woman group.
Yeah.
And I said to just run your G-Woman group, your mentoring group. It's okay.
Yes.
Because I just want to just pray. And, so I said, Shane, it's you and me, because Shane and I go back to when we were 15, 16 as young teenagers, and we'd pray and seek God together in between church services. And so I said, Shane will do it. But there was a great response of people who came out.
Yeah.
I was really, and then Sandra came in for the last 10 or so minutes, which was great with her team. I think she had like 19 in the group. They came in. But the issue is not about a number.
Yeah.
Because we're so number driven.
Yes.
The issue is about seeking God and calling out to God. And that was great. So it was just great. It was 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We did it before the music practice. And hopefully we didn't interrupt the music practice too much, giving them 15 minutes to set up.
Well, I think it was more like you went for 47 minutes.
Okay.
So you gave me only 13 minutes to turn the equipment on.
Okay. Did it work?
Yeah, it was all good. It was all good.
That's what I like about you. Very gracious.
Yes, I'm very gracious, Shaun.
Today, after this meeting, I'm going to take you for a treat, an excursion.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Okay, so as the young man here with us, your spiritual daddy's going to take his spiritual son for a trip.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Where would you like to go?
How about Costco?
Costco. I'm going to take you for an American experience in Australia.
Yeah.
Because this Costco is exactly what you'd get in the US of A.
Yes, I'm excited.
Yes. And not that I eat their food, but they have American type food there.
Yes.
So I will not get any of that stuff, Ed, but I will take you there as a treat.
Yes.
And let's get that going in that area and have a look around there. So that's a highlight, right? For an hour, we'll do that.
Yes. Okay.
More importantly, I need fuel in my tank, so it's cheaper fuel. So like yellow lights on, but I'll make it there. I'll make it there.
Yeah,
we'll
make it there. That's it. If not, we'll pray over it. We'll pray over the tank.
And my gorgeous wife has sent me a list about a mile long. So I will be occupied in that area while you eat your pizza.
Yes.
Okay. So it comes about. But anyhow, so we had the prayer, which was great, just in the area, and it's just a great flow of people. And I was sharing just in the first 10 minutes before we prayed, and I was sharing about God can do it again. And so without going to that now, we'll do it later. I want to talk this week and next week about do it again.
Yes.
And I have a special guest coming in next week. I don't know if you can put his image up, but a special guest coming in next week. His name is Andrew Evans. Now, he doesn't look as young as that, because Andrew is well and truly his 80s. Okay.
Yeah.
But Andrew Evans, when I was in Assemblies, it's called Assemblies of God then.
Yes.
Today it's Australian Christian Churches.
Yep.
But when I was in Assemblies of God, minister. I think I got ordained through them, my full credentials in 1987.
Oh,
so he was chairman of the board then, and so he signed my papers
nice.
back then.
Yes.
Oh, back then. And I'm no longer an Assemblies of God minister.
Yeah.
Okay, but I was then. And so he came in right in the crucial time. He came in there in the 70s, a big move. The areas there, maybe the 80s. Okay, he took over the fellowship for quite a few years, and just a great move. And I want to talk about those days and those times and the differences, but it'll be a follow-on to what we talk about today. So today I'll be having a discussion. Tomorrow will be next week will be the interview in that area. So we'd love you to join us then. So it'll be a good interview. It'll be a good time together.
Good
I just got to keep him on track to the questions I want. So I'm gonna have to steer him in there. So,
yes.
But it'll happen. It'll happen. So,
it'll be good.
Be good. But anyhow, so let's just have a couple of minutes to talk about what's currently happening in the news around us.
Yes, those pesky teenagers are running wild. Get off my lawn. So, I don't know if any of you guys have heard, but there has been a push, I think yesterday, by our Premier, Anastasia Palaszczuk, about cracking down on youth violence in wake of that terrible tragedy that happened a couple of weeks ago with the 17-year-old who was driving that stolen car and killed 3 people.
Well, actually, it's if I may interject.
Yes.
It's kind of true, but not quite true.
Yeah.
So that 17-year-old running away didn't do it.
Oh, yeah.
It was the guy chasing the 17-year-old who did it.
Yep.
So that's part of the thing about people taking the law into their own hands.
Yes.
So the young 17-year-old stole a car, took off, and then this other guy came after wanting to be a police.
Yep.
And caused the accident, which killed. So that guy's now facing years in jail.
Yeah.
So that's what happens.
Yes.
People taking matters, and I can understand, but that people take matters into their own hands. I mean, but without a doubt, it doesn't take away from the story that there is a problem. In particular, this is the Townsville area, and that's not saying it's not here as well, but in particular, the Townsville area where young people, 14, 15, 16, are stealing cars.
Yeah. Well, there's just a lot of youth crime happening in these areas.
And they're getting away with it because none of them are being incarcerated.
Accountable, sometimes their families don't have the capacity to look after them.
Was it you I was talking about this, about ideas of how to handle these people?
Might have been.
I was saying, what I'd love to see happen to these young people.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to sound radical, and some of you might not like what I say, so please don't be haters. Just love me anyhow, okay? I would love to see where they have a station, like a cattle station, right out in central Queensland.
Yeah.
Right? And a working cattle station.
Yes.
And they send these troubled teenagers because they're getting cut, nothing's happening, right? And they send them to this area.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to be in agreement, otherwise they got to do the other system. They send them to this working station. So they can't wander off because there's nowhere to go. Like there's tens of thousands of acres out in Central Australia. Yeah. And it's a working station.
Yes.
And they send them out there, with we call them jackaroos, you know what I mean?
It's jackaroos,
Americans say cowboys, but, tough guys. And a lot of them too Indigenous, which are great workers in the areas. And have them out there for a couple of years as part of their sentencing.
They're sentenced,
and the government can give them a minimal, like if anything, like maybe $10 a week, a day, I don't something minimal, but nothing there, so that the station doesn't actually pay for it.
Yeah,
they have government support, and if they need to, I don't know, the prison officials or else there do it, but make them work in the area and make it something productive in that thing there. Something like that, I think would be a great way of dealing with some of these young people.
I reckon just send them to the army.
Yeah, but what sort of army are we going to produce? Okay, so I think, I would hope that our army, that we'd be able to pick, because we're not in war, that we'd be able to pick favorable people.
Yes.
Rather than saying, well, you don't make it in society, so go join it. Now, I can understand what you mean by a boot camp type thing. Yeah. But they could also do it on a station where they're actually doing work. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, put them to work. You know what I mean? It's not about humiliating. There's a prison in Arizona, USA. And, Arizona is just stinking hot. I mean, stinking hot.
Yes.
And to deal with the men in the area, they would have this open prison with just shade cloth. big fence cage, and they're out in the sun. Then there's no area there, and their whole jumpsuit, socks, underwear, hat, shoes are all dyed pink.
Dyed pink?
Yeah.
Huh?
It's humiliation.
Oh, okay.
But I don't see how it would humiliate them if you got like 1,000 all in the same gear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I don't think prison is about humiliating. It would have to be about reforming. And I think with these young adults, this is just my opinion, okay? And I'm obviously not running for premier, so it makes no difference. But I think doing something constructive, you can't just, it's not the police fault. It's the judiciary system.
Yeah.
And the judiciary system probably would blame the government.
Yes.
But they've got to change it. They've got to get them out there. That's what needs to happen. Erica, you want to say something?
Erica's mic's not working. It wasn't working earlier. And I sent her a stealthy message to check it. And then she takes over our conversation.
I have nothing to add here.
Okay, is the mic working now?
It's not working. Just try the connection. Try the thing on the back. Anyway, yeah, it's like a big issue in general with like, you know, correction, rehabilitation. That word.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a big boy word.
Big boy words. But what the government's doing now is they're going to put GPS tracking on them for certain crimes up to a point.
Yeah, I understand that, and I'm not against that, and I think it's good, but I think there needs to be more to it.
More to it, yeah.
And see, we live in such a precious state, you know what I mean? They're all so precious, you know what I mean? We can't send them to a station, they're too precious, or you can't speak to them roughly, they're too precious.
Yeah.
Now, I agree that there have been things of abuse in the past.
Oh, yes.
But I also believe that there are things that need to be done to get them stabilized and get them in the area. And, you know, of course, I agree with what's said here. They need God in their lives, and of course, they need proper parenting. But we also need to look at reality. It's not happening because, you know, statistics tell us that approximately 80% of crime with young men, they come from a fatherless home.
Yep.
So whether that be theft, robbery, rape, all those areas, fatherless home. Or fatherless. Now, you know, you might have a dad there, but he's not there.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a fatherless situation.
Yes.
So, I mean, I agree the answer is fathering or parenting. I agree they need God. I agree.
Yeah.
But it's not the reality of a society.
Exactly.
So we still have to come up with a way to bring connection. We still have to come up with a way in which we bring instruction into the areas. And I do think they need it. I'm not into the army thing because I think that's I mean, a boot camp, but on like a station where they're working, so they're being productive.
Yeah, discipline.
You know, put them out there rounding up cattle.
Yeah.
Putting them out there breaking horses. Put them out there as a working. Putting them out there harvesting the wheat. Put them out there picking these berries or whatever else needs to be done on these farms.
Yes.
You know, put it out there where it's productive.
Yeah.
And things are happening. To me, you know, that's what happened. And if they don't want to do it, then put them in remand.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, you can't just slap them on the wrist and let them go out. And that's what's happening. Because people are dying.
Yeah.
Literally dying. And we have government that's just doing the same thing, repeating it. We're going to get tough now. We're going to get tough. Okay, what are you tough? We're going to put a band on their ankle so we can track
GPS
them when they
tracker,
do steal a car. It doesn't stop them stealing a car.
They
you know what I mean?
Do it, yeah.
So we have to get things in the area. So I'm not talking about forcing them to do it. Okay, but I am talking about saying this is a program.
Yeah.
Okay, it might mean if they got sentenced to 3 years, they do 2. You know what I mean? But they do an area there and they come through. So, but I think a lot of people might go for it, but make them work in the area. So there needs to be something.
Yes.
Something needs to be done.
Yes. Second major news that's been happening around here is that, I don't know if you've been driving in the CBD or driving in around the areas of it, but traffic has just been awful. In fact, it's been more awful than usual.
Yeah, I've noticed this outside the church here because we're on the highway.
Yeah, we're next to the highway.
And
just...
You know, I'm glad I live 5 minutes away. Probably 7, okay?
Yes.
But the fact of the matter is, because somebody out there's going to be exact.
Yeah.
But I don't come on the highway.
Yeah.
But it is just so slow.
So slow. Oh,
I've also noticed on Redland Bay Road where I live, now more than ever before, going towards the schools down that way, it's just jam-packed all the way around.
Yep, a lot more people on
and
cars.
Like you, I wanted to know what's happened. Why has it happened? And what did you find out?
Yeah, so, Erica?
Is it going to work?
Oh, your mic's still not working. Oh, that's disappointing.
Can you just say,
Well,
less people are taking taking public transport.
Yeah, well, I know about that. Yeah,
Are you trying to take away our?
I know about
we
that.
know the answer, Erica. We're just setting each other up to say.
Yeah. So a major issue because of COVID.
This is Ed and I already know the answer. We're trying to set each other up for a conversation. Erica's, it's like taking the punchline from the joke.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Hey,
How about next time we have our meeting to discuss? We include Erica.
Yeah.
Okay, so she doesn't want to. Praise God, the punchline. So hey Ed, I wonder why it is that the traffic is so packed up.
Yeah. I don't know. Mistrust in public transport.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's a COVID thing.
Yeah, it's because of COVID. Trains, buses.
People don't trust it.
People don't trust it.
Because of COVID. And where else has it affected that we've never seen before?
It's also been affecting
used cars.
Oh, really?
Yes. Okay, so
I don't know about this one.
No, there's a shortage on used cars.
Oh.
So when you drive past your Toyota and have an area and you look at the used cars lot, there's hardly anything in there.
Yeah.
And they've been going crazy buying these used cars.
Yes.
And in fact, they say a lot of them because, when the government, I don't agree with what the government did in this area. That's just my opinion.
Yes.
But they said you could withdraw from your super.
Oh, yeah.
And 10,000 lots it was end up doing. And they were buying used cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know people in our church
Yeah, same.
that went a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
And they've lost them now.
They've lost it, yeah.
So I'm just, and that's going to take them years to get that back.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that these used cars, they've been buying up all these used cars. That's why there's so much more traffic. So it's not just on the road, but they're buying all the used cars. That's why to sell a used car now is the best. You're getting top dollar.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, maybe I should sell my car.
You could.
I'm going to do that.
You will get $1,000 to $2,000 more now than you would have 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I better get on top of that.
Yeah, you should do it.
Okay, I'll get on top of that.
Yeah.
I was saving up to go to America when all this COVID stuff deals with. Maybe I
come over with me. Come over with myself and Sandra. That'd be great. At least for a week. And we'll go over with Eric and Andres as they go over with their baby to celebrate their time together in Oklahoma. You will be bored over there. But anyhow, there ain't nothing there. Yeah. Okay. How long's it? Oh, I can't ask her. She's not linked on there. But anyhow, anyhow, it comes across. But the used cars. But if you sold it now, what are you going to get? A bicycle? It wouldn't do you any harm having a bicycle.
Oh, yeah. What are you trying to say, Sean? What are you trying to say? I'm
just saying you're the type of young man that wants to keep fit.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Thank you. That was good. And I'm glad you didn't say, well, it's because you could probably lose a couple of pounds off you. I'm glad you didn't say that.
No, I wouldn't say that. But if you feel that, that's up to you. Okay, so.
But yeah, the point is that traffic's bad.
Yeah.
But there's also been a new reason today why traffic is also just as bad.
Okay.
And it's because there is 10 ongoing construction projects in the CBD, both private and government. So there's just construction everywhere. I've been noticing even on the service road where the church is, there's construction just a little bit up ahead.
Yeah.
Like where the Sewell Road starts.
Yeah.
There's construction there, construction somewhere near my house, and there seems to be construction all along the highway. It's just
well, you know what I think?
everywhere.
I think we need infrastructure.
I mean, I agree.
Rather than just construction because, I remember it was under Joe Bajelko Peterson where the highway was built.
Yep.
So you should have lived here when there was no highway, I tell you. Going to the Gold Coast was just
that
single
service
road.
road.
That's right, yeah. And they built the, what do you call that, the bridge going to the airport.
Oh, the gateway?
The gateway, yeah. Then it was a single lane, then double lane.
I remember when it was just one bridge. Yes, I do remember when, and there was still physical tolls there.
And going up to Sunshine Coast. Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, we should have, because I love what America has.
Yes.
And it was done in the 50s under President Eisenhower.
Oh, yeah, Eisenhower, yep.
Okay. And he built the international I-10 and everything else across America.
Yeah, that.
You can travel anywhere in America, and mainland America is the same size of Australia.
Yes.
Okay. Basically in the area there, right? Not counting Alaska, but just mainland America.
Yep.
And you can drive anywhere in the US of A on interstate highway, Interstate 10 in particular, and it's double lanes all the way.
Oh, wow.
So double lanes, not single, double.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The old highway is called Highway 66. That went from California all the way through. You can still do that for Joyride.
Yeah.
But I mean, Interstate 10, go around there. So we really should be having that. We should have from Brisbane all the way to Cairns, double lanes going. It should have been there years ago. We should have Brisbane through to Sydney.
Yeah.
I think that's open now, to Brisbane to Sydney now, double lanes. So just finish that off all the way across there.
Yes.
But that should be across to Adelaide, the inland highway. All that should have been done a long time ago.
Yes.
There's so many infrastructure things we have neglected. Lack of water.
Yes.
The electricity things is just crazy. They could have been, we waste so much water from up north from the storms. They should be able to bring that down, which they could have done. Many years earlier would have been cheaper. It was back in the 50s it was recommended. And they could use, where it drops, they could use that to turn into hydroelectricity by turning an area where we could be making, just by the natural fall of the water, and we could be helping out other areas where we could be doing things like that, and we're not doing it. There's lack of thought, or there's the amount of money we spent on other ridiculous things. And think about the employment, things that happen in the cities and the towns, and get water out to Central Australia, farming in different areas, because we have most of Australia is dry and arid. And we could be getting water out those areas. There's so many things. I mean, what does it take? I mean, this talk has been like 50 years, 60 years, 70 years. And nothing's ever done. Nothing ever is done. I just would hope that we'd have a prime minister or a state leader who has the courage, which I don't think is going to happen. And say they all talk. And then their possibility surveys take so many years that government is then out of power.
So much
and
red
the other
tape.
guy wants to get rid of it purely because they're opposition.
It was their idea. So I don't like it.
They don't think of the nation. They're thinking of themselves as a party. And we've really lost it. We've really lost it. And, as a nation, with 25 million, we're straining. We're straining. And it's not that we're overpopulated like Dick Smith and others want to say. The problem is we don't have the infrastructure to support what we have.
We don't think long-term enough. That kind of thing.
Look at Israel. They have turned the whole inland desert
that's the desert,
into farms and areas growing things like you just wouldn't believe. And they're like the size of Tasmania or smaller.
Israel.
And these areas, you take when Gaddafi was the dictator, he said he was going to build this underground water thing to tunnel water all the way through. Maybe Eric can look it up. All the way through the Gaddafi. Everybody in the world laughed at him. I think it was in the 60s or 70s. I think it took like a decade or two to dig it, this conduit to do this tunnel water. He did it.
Oh, wow.
And that's in Libya, which is a full desert. Now, he's a dictator, so they can do what they want. But the fact of the matter is that they did it. You know what I mean? They did it. And there are things that are done by mankind, which is incredible, which goes about, And I just don't understand why we are so, I'm going to be a little bit not nice here. Stupid.
Stupid.
In our leadership and nation. No foresight. Because you think of what we could do in these areas, and there are people that can do incredible things. But that was under Gaddafi when he got the money and that to do it, and they said he was crazy, but he brought water in there to live there. But I mean, there's just so many things we could be doing.
Well, what would you do to fix this congestion issue, Shaun? You're the premier of Queensland, and you've been posed to fix congestion. What would you do?
But the issue is it's not a short-term fix.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you take the current premier we have. She's in her third term. So my question is, what a waste. I mean, okay, I understand first term you get a vision. But if you've done 3 terms, you're talking, well, it wouldn't be quite 9 years because, there's 4-year terms now.
4-year terms,
So only this last one is 4 fixed. Okay, so feasibly, she's 2 other terms at 3. That's 10 years.
Now it's 10.
So what infrastructure has she put in? Well, we're in so much debt because of bad management over the Labor governments. Okay, I just saw the hospitals like $82 million a week or a day or a year just in debt, just bleeding money. Which has been a problem all the way back. Okay, there's nothing there for infrastructure. There's nothing done. And what can we do? The water. The water. I mean, electricity is a problem. Water's a problem in our dams.
And our communications.
We haven't done a new dam for decades.
Yeah.
I think the last dam we did, was the Hens Dam, roughly.
Yeah.
Okay. Which obviously was Bajelka Peterson time.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We could be working out, if the federal government was working out to bring that water from up north, Queensland, bring it down, and where there is drops, you know what I mean, we could be turning that drop into making electricity to help generate in towns and everything else. That could be working in that area. That's not the highways.
Yeah.
In regards to the motorways, we need better infrastructure. Like, for example, this is not dealing with, for example, the fear of transportation. But, for example, you take Yarra-Bilba.
Yes.
So Yarra-Bilba, which is at the base of Tamborine, right, just past Logan Village, which is an area of, 5,000-10,000 people right now? Possibility of 20 to 30. So the state government has blown it with that area. Now, that's a state government thing. It's not a local government. It's not local. It's state government.
Oh, okay.
That's state government. The state government overrides local government. Right? They should have put in, or so you're saying Yarra-Bilba is 3,580. Is that what it is right now? Okay. That congestion. But then you've got Logan Village and all the other surrounding areas. So the problem is right now is that there is an old railway line there. Did you know that?
No. Okay.
I remember it as a kid. Okay, but there's an old 60s. There's an old railway line. It's still there. If you go in there, you can see it. If you're heading to Yarra-Bilba, you see it on your left before Logan Village. Right? So the land is still there. So thank goodness the land hasn't been sold off. Okay. Some routes, so you have to rebuild it, right? But there are private investors who have wanted to build that railway line. Okay. To be able to use it to transport. I mean, the government could do an agreement on fees, but they could do a railway line straight from Yarra-Bilba that services the base Logan Tamborine area, that services Logan Village, that would service then Buchan, that would service then Waterford West.
Then that could connect,
and it can go all the way through. No, go to Beenleigh as a junction. Okay, so you got Beenleigh or Bethania. Okay, whichever you want. But Beenleigh is just a turn to the right. Okay, but it can service there. Okay, but the old railway line goes through to Bethania. Okay, and at Bethania, because the land's already there. And at Bethania, okay, you could then have there's a junction to go on to Gold Coast, whenever you want. So it's already there.
So you'd suggest like better use of public transport.
Well, but that doesn't help us with this fear of COVID. But that's just talking about long term. And we need long term projects. Okay, and investment. That area. I do think that smart light rail that the Gold Coast has is good.
That's good. I've been on it before. It's nice.
And I think it's better than the buses. Personally.
You can fit way more on it too.
And the issue is when they built that, and I know there's a lot of headaches with business and everything else, but when they built that, they were criticized. But, they've had the, games down there, and they've had different things, the Commonwealth Games, and it's serviced really well. And they got to extend that to the Coolangatta Airport. They've got to run that through. But they could also be trying to connect out more to doing it. But see, that's a good thing, and we need more stuff like that. Brisbane City, I think they're doing the BAT tunnel, right? Buses and taxis tunnel, right? That's what it means, BAT. I think it is there. And they're doing the tunnels. See, we don't need more tunnels where we're paying more money. Because there's still more traffic on the road. We need to have more effective transportation, highways and things that's coming about to move people up, to make it more enjoyable. I think I did see them building out beside the Tingalpa exit, Green Slopes, a bicycle green thing going all the way in the city. I think that's a good idea.
Encouraging people not to drive cars into the city, maybe.
Not for that, just creating opportunities.
Opportunity.
But we need to not forget areas like Logan or the Redlands. Now, when you go out to the area in Ipswich, Springfield Lakes, they have a good setup out there. The highway is double lanes all the way in. Which is wonderful. They have a train station right there, which is wonderful, and buses. And that's good, okay? But the problem is that they're not doing enough now. And we're growing.
Exactly.
And it's not happening.
Well, speaking of growing, do you think that is one of the issues? Whenever it comes to growth, whether that be CBD or like your Logan areas, your Springfield areas, your Ipswich areas, we always think to build up instead of building outwards.
Well, the problem is that the reason why we're going up, like in the cities, is because we don't have the infrastructure going out.
Yeah, see,
so you go down to past Ormo, and you go to Coomera, and you see between Ormo and Coomera, they're building new estates in that bush.
Yeah, but they're building it so slowly.
Well, the issue is we don't have the highway to carry it.
To get it there, yeah.
So the problem is you build these for another 3, 2, 4,000 each little pocket. I mean, you try and come out of Yarrabilba, which, 3,500 homes. That's not counting people, but 3,500 homes.
Yeah.
You try and come down that Logan Village Road. It's a standoff. You can't move.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it's even worse if you go out to those little estate areas around the desert.
Yes.
Which is still part of it. They're even worse. And there's no thought to infrastructure. So you got water, you got electricity, you got roads, you got public transport. And people were getting rebates to move further out, especially, but there's no infrastructure.
There's no infrastructure to actually do that.
No, but I love the way like your Woolies and Coles are moving their little sub-market shopping centres out in these areas.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, we have one in Canoobia, which is really handy.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And I love that idea.
Yeah.
But the problem is the government, that's business.
Yeah.
Business has more brains and investment than government.
Yeah.
I mean, government's got all the resources.
Yeah.
Business has got to take all the risks.
Yeah.
And yet businesses will do it. And we have to encourage these areas, and we got to get that going, and it's not happening.
Exactly.
And it comes back to we are so divided. I mean, look at the mess America's in between Republicans and Democrats, and how President Biden says, I want unity, and he has done absolutely nothing for unity.
Yeah.
Just obliterated any thought of unity.
Yeah.
And there has to be a point to where government says, look, let me meet with the opposition. Let me be here. Say, can we agree on a long-term project?
Yeah, build a bridge.
So let's say, for example, you're one party, and I won't say what, and I'm another party.
I'm Ed Party.
Okay.
Yeah, party of Ed.
Yeah, okay, so the party of Ed, and I'm the party of Shaun. So the party of Shaun got in. It was a fluke, but I got it, all right?
Dang it.
So I want to do a long-term project.
Yeah.
So I get with the party of Ed. I said, let's put politics aside. What can we agree on for nation building? What would you agree with me? Meaning, not that I'm expecting you to cooperate with me in the sex, not to be opposed to me, so that when I am removed, you carry on and you won't be opposed to it.
Yeah, find like a
so you and I talk. So let's say we're talking in Queensland.
Yeah.
And the party of Shaun gets in. And so I say to the party of Ed, the opposition, what state project would you agree is worthwhile us investing in?
Well, I want to build a massive 3-lane highway that goes all the way to Cairns.
Okay. All right, so let's say it was something like that.
Yeah, something crazy like that.
And we came to agreement.
Okay.
Let's just say 2 lanes each side.
Yeah, you bring it back. Okay, how about 2? Yeah.
2. Okay, so we can go.
We agree on
so
that.
we agree that. So we agree that could take 10 years.
Yeah.
So the reality is I probably won't be in power then.
Yeah.
The party of Ed would.
Yeah.
But we agree with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we agree that's going to happen, and you agree that when you come in power, you keep that going as well, because it's not about you and me. And then if it is built on your watch, you might invite me along for the opening.
Yeah.
Not because I'm in power, you did it, okay, but because we work together.
Together.
Where has the desire for the state or the nation become more important than the individual party or individual personality? See, we lack that.
Yeah.
So we should be able to sit down and say, look, we're opposition. We're not going to agree on a lot of things, and you'll be able to oppose me. Yeah. But can we agree with this? So like you see, for example, in our federal government, that when there's some sort of national thing, the opposition leader and the leader will get together for something in unity. And we need to do that rather than you getting in power and saying, I'm going to stop that, mothball it. Then you've got to compensate that company that had the contract. So get you involved in the contract and get us involved in the area. So it's a coalition that we agree on, so that whether I'm in power and you're in power, we're pushing it through so we can present to the nation a 10-year or 20-year vision. That no matter who's in power, we're committed to that vision. Now, you might tweak it a little bit.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But the fact is, it's still going to go ahead. And that is missing because the Bible says that a house divided falls.
Yes.
So when I say a house, I'm speaking broader than a political party. I'm talking about the nation.
The nation, yeah.
And we're not interested in national interest. We're not interested in the state. We're interested in political steps. And this is the problem we have.
Yes, they keep making everything political. This highway is political. This rail is political. Let's start making it political. These are affecting like the little people that actually will use them. Politicians don't use them. The little people
Well,
do.
you just go by where we are, right?
Yeah.
So a decade ago, Premier Leader, he was buying up all of the land for Rochdale and building a new highway to the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Right? They bought it all up. I think it was under Goss.
Yeah.
Right? Goss got out of power. Okay. The coalition said, no. Borbridge, I think it was. No, we're not doing it. Get down. Okay. So then then people buying it back off them. Okay. Never happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
Then Labor back in again. So they started buying up all this land around us here to do a ring road around our church. With a big parking station on the other side and a walk bridge across to the Hyperdome, the bus station. They put all the maps out in the Hyperdome, all that. They bought up land. They bought land from us, but all this land, right? Millions of dollars spent. Right?
Yeah.
No, got scrapped.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
Now they're trying to sell off things, do things in there. Now they've got this new highway, or this running one, that's supposed to go from Nerang, running parallel to the highway, that comes out at Mount Cotton.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know where the overpass is in Ipswich Road?
Yeah.
And you know where they have that sort of, it used to be a golf thing, this funny looking house building where they're going to build that zoo?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's where they now goes across to Mount Cotton and broaden all of Mount Cotton. But who knows if that's going to be.
Even going to be.
And they're resuming land through Eagleby and all that area, right? Because they've got this new parallel highway.
Yes.
See, the problem is that why can't we come in agreement
just on something
with the opposition
Yeah.
in principle?
Yeah.
So to say, well, let's commit to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rather than when you're running against me in the election saying, we will can that.
Yeah, we'll stop it.
We'll stop it.
We'll stop the spending.
Yeah. Well, we're going to not do that because,
do that.
you know, we found
That was their idea.
Yeah, we found a
better
frog.
idea. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, can't you find that frog when you're together to work it out?
Yeah, work it out together.
You know,
Yeah.
so that it doesn't help the state.
Yeah. Doesn't help the people.
And they people don't realize they spend tens of millions wasted. So when they have a project and they deny it, they spend millions getting a feasibility.
Yeah. Budgeting,
They
planning
signed
it.
contracts.
Yeah.
And the next government has to pay millions in compensation
Yes.
to those contractors.
Yeah.
And they don't see that.
Don't see it, yeah.
And so again, we fail. So when you say to me, what would you do? Okay, well, not what would I, what if I was there? I'm not going to do it. So what would I do? Was have some sort of common ground.
With infrastructure. Yeah.
And say, let's think of our state or let's think of our nation besides our political differences. There must be some common ground.
Exactly. It's been good. We spent 20 minutes talking about infrastructure. That was really fun. I like those kind of discussions where it's like, we're just going to talk about infrastructure for 20 minutes. I like it.
Well, you know, if just a couple of guys like you and I can have a discussion that I think makes some sense. I'm not saying all sense, some sense.
Yeah.
What the heck is wrong with these people in power?
I know, right? They'll probably say, bureaucracy, red tape.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Because we're always blaming somebody else.
Someone else, yeah.
And that's why we don't have a real leader. Like, who's a real leader? Well, I suppose Menzies was a real leader in our politics. You know what I mean? I think John Howard was a real leader. In some way, Bob Hawke was a real leader.
Yep.
Okay, where they stand out in the areas. In the state here, I think of Joe Bajoko Peterson. He had his, but he did air. I think of Clem Jones, who'd have to be our most popular, famous before your time.
Oh, the Clem Jones Bridge. Oh, that's who it's
Clem
named
Jones.
over.
But Clem Jones was the Brisbane mayor.
That's who it's named over.
He was mayor, but he did incredible things in the city.
Yes.
And I think these are people who really stand out. And some of those are Labor, some of those were National, some of those are Liberal.
Yeah.
But they stand out as people who are more real national leaders or state leaders who could put aside their political interests. Now, I'm not saying they're all the best people in person. You can find faults, and I understand that, and I'm not trying to open that door, but I'm talking about where they can actually do a change.
Yeah.
And I believe that's what's missing today. We don't have that situation. Like, for example, Scott Morrison wins another term, whenever that is. I wish they'd make it 4 years, another term, that there could be some sort of thinking about what to do or come to agreement. But I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening. So
Politics.
Well, that's right, and that's what hurts our
helps
country.
the little people. Yeah,
And in the dictatorships, like in China, they just in 1 second, right? We are building this. Like I was in a city called Shenzhen.
Yeah.
So Shenzhen is just over the border of Hong Kong. It's a trade port.
Yeah.
Right? And I was there 1 year, and there was no subways. I came back 5 years later, and it's a complete thing of subway trains running in 5 years, built and running.
Well, yeah, that's the thing of China. They're massive on infrastructure.
Well,
massive.
they have a dictatorship.
Yeah, so they can just get.
They just write something in the pen. So I'm not endorsing dictatorship, okay? But what I'm saying is that they can think of national things. Now, they go too far because they're bombastic and dictatorship.
Yeah, dictatorship.
But what I'm talking about is, but there's still that area that because we work in this democracy, we don't get the things done.
Yeah.
See, how did Eisenhower get it through? I don't know. Maybe he was so respected as a great general.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From World War II.
Yeah.
So Erica can't go online, but he came in after Lyndon Johnson because Harry Truman. So, no, Truman, Harry Truman, the buck stops here. Yeah. So Harry Truman took over from Roosevelt, and that's how then in the 50s came in Eisenhower.
Yes.
And came in as the president. And he brought in this great infrastructure. And also being the general in charge of the European conflict, he was a great strategist.
Oh, yeah.
A great strategist. And to me, that worked out really well. But hey, that's my view.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know what the people's view is, but we just solved our problems in our state, and we just solved our problems in our nation.
Yes, we did.
You know, the problem is?
Politics.
Nobody's listening.
Nobody's listening.
Yes, nobody's listening. Very good. Very good. Any more news?
That's it.
No more?
I got no more. I mean, you know what? Church is happening this Sunday. I think that's some good news.
And this Sunday is
Vision Sunday.
Vision Sunday, and we are not
live streaming.
We're not live streaming at our 9:30 or the 6 because
you said so.
Because it's private.
It's private, yeah.
And it's not that we're doing anything bad, but I want to share to the family, the church
house.
family, to the house, yeah. So, we have limited numbers, so you need to book in. Because we've still got only 50% of our auditorium allowed to be used, which is better than America. California's only 25%, I think.
Yeah. Very smart.
But the fact of the matter is that's what's happening.
Yes.
So at the 8 and 9:30 a.m., we'll be sharing the vision. We have this great booklet that's been done. We don't have a copy of it here anyhow to show.
We don't have a copy.
But we have that book that's done, which is great.
Yeah, it's
Good
great.
Pictures.
Awesome.
I like the picture. And then we have this special. We didn't do a Christmas card of all the staff this year.
Yeah.
Just one of myself on that.
Yes.
And the reason why is I wanted to have a card done for Vision Sunday, which we've done.
Yep.
That hopefully has the magnet things on it. And if you can show it. And no, it doesn't work that way. It's okay, Erica.
It's okay.
We won't do that. The quality's just slipped. Okay, so she means well.
She means well.
Yeah, she's
all right.
She's a great blessing to have.
Yes.
Erica's a great one. No, she's doing it again. Erica, it's okay. It's just a fun. So we can't feed it online unless you want to airdrop it to Ed or that, but that comes in.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay. But anyhow, come on Sunday.
Yeah, come Sunday.
So it has all the team for this year because there's been changes.
Yes.
And we want you to stick that on your refrigerator, wherever else, so that you pray for us and the team. And it's a good team members, new ones there, and things coming. So we'll be doing that. Then on the Sunday evening, we're having our anointing service.
Yes.
Now, I know that next Sunday is also actually
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are no flowers or roses.
Oh.
Okay. So I don't know if people are going away or not. You know what I mean? But we're going to have the anointing service.
Yes.
Okay. And that's at 6.
Yes.
And so what happens is we're doing it because of COVID, safe areas, but we're still doing an anointing tunnel and we're doing things without laying hands.
You're going to have a water pistol and squirting people with oil?
Maybe a dropper to drop oil on them, a dropper. But we're doing different things there. And an area for communion just to come in the area.
Yeah.
So, but, even if you're with your sweetheart, what a great way to be anointed for it. Which is good.
Can't relate to that.
I know. Let me know if you get a Valentine's card.
I'll let you know. Don't worry.
Okay. I want to know if you get a Valentine's card. I've already got my wife a Valentine's card.
Oh, very good.
I got it on Monday.
Oh, very good. Head of the pack.
I've been married 38 years.
Yes.
And August will be 39.
Ooh, awesome.
I'm looking forward to next year.
Yeah, 40.
40, yeah.
Big 40.
Man, I'm so blessed. And, I tell my wife, I try to tell her every day how much I love her.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But then I do like to take moments, special moments, where I send a card and a little gift.
Yes.
Whether that be her birthday, Christmas, our wedding anniversary.
Yep.
And yes, I do it on the Valentine's. And I know people might say, well, shouldn't do it every day. Well, I don't every day give her a card. I don't every day give her a gift. I tell her I love her.
Yes.
I don't do that. Because what would happen is it wouldn't mean as much.
Yeah, it wouldn't mean as much. Yeah.
So I like to take those about 4 or 5 times in the year.
Yeah.
Where I just do a little something and just to express my love to her.
Yes.
Do you know how Valentine's was birthed?
Just some corporate holiday.
No.
Some company came up with it to, I don't know. Sell
Well, I agree.
chocolate.
It's extremely commercial.
Yeah.
All those cardiologists selling cards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. From the
To my American friends.
Yeah. Cardiologist, yes.
But there was a Catholic priest called...
Valentine.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. And as you know, there's the 3 vows you took as a Catholic priest. Do you know what the 3 vows were?
Nope.
Obedience,
Yep.
poverty.
Poverty.
Yeah, poverty. You could have no money. Only church does
Oh, okay.
Okay. And celibacy, no marriage.
Oh, celibacy. Yeah.
Three vows. The problem is that this Catholic priest fell in love and was imprisoned.
Yep.
And was to be executed.
Oh, wow.
Going way back. So he wrote his final letter to the lady he loved.
On the 14th.
And he signed it, Your Valentine.
Valentine. That's where it comes from.
Well, Eric's talking about.
So if you truly want to send a Valentine's Day card, you have to get executed? Is that what the story is?
Some might
Be a martyr?
Some might feel that. Okay. All right. What time is it?
11:47.
Time's gone. All right. I won't be able to do as much as I wanted to do. So
sorry. We talked about infrastructure for too long.
I thought this was going to be 15-minute talk. And it's 11:47 on my clock. So
Sorry.
we've done 47 minutes on this, whatever we're doing.
Yeah, that's okay.
But anyhow, so in 1940,
Yes.
I was not born then.
You sure?
Yes, I was 1962. In 1940, Professor Edwin Orr of Wheaton University, which is a Bible school,
Yep.
led a group of theology students to England, where they visited sites of great revivals.
Revival.
That
There
favorite
it is.
word,
There it is.
revival. One location was called the Epworth Rectory, and it was the part-time home of John Wesley.
Yep.
John Wesley was a famous reformer who led a spiritual renewal movement in the 1700s. And as a man of prayer, Wesley interceded for revival to sweep through England and to spread to America as well. I have a book which is of his diary.
Yes.
I don't have the diary, but book. And it's where he wrote it one time. He says, Lord, please forgive me. I'm like 86 and I can't spend 4 hours a day on prayer, only 2. Please forgive me.
Oh,
I mean, like,
man.
he's on his knees on his bed. Right?
Yeah.
And Dr. Orr pointed out 2 warm places on the carpet next to Wesley's bed, where the great reformer Wesley had knelt for hours in prayer each day, crying out for revival. And as the tour concluded, the students loaded the bus. And after counting them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, Orr noticed that one of his American theology students was missing. So he returned to the house, and eventually he located the lost student. He was in John Wesley's bedroom, kneeling on the worn impressions where Wesley had fervently prayed for revival. And the student was repeatedly crying out this, saying, do it again, Lord. Do it again. And then he says, and would you do it again with me? This was his prayer. Do it again, Lord. Do it again. And would you do it again with me? I love that. So Orr placed his hand on the young man's shoulder. He said, son, it's time to leave. Everybody else is on the bus. The student slowly rose, and then that young man, named Billy Graham, joined the rest of his class. And through him, God did do it again. Why? Because Billy Graham was passionate to see God bring revival as in the days past. And I love that story.
Yes.
It's just blessed me. But 100 years before him, give or take, maybe not quite, there was another young man, and he was the son. His mother was a Unitarian.
Unitarian?
Yeah. So the Unitarians believed that any road would get you to heaven.
Okay.
So you could be Buddhist, Muslim, whatever. Any road to get you to heaven.
Yeah.
Because the Bible says only through Christ, but they say anything.
Yeah.
So, but they're extremely poor.
Yep.
And a large family. So poor that, when they turned 13, 14, the mum would ask them to leave.
Oh, wow.
Find a job, leave, because they just couldn't support them.
Yeah.
So they had a relative in Chicago area who had a shoe shop.
Oh, yep.
And so the family organized if he could have a job there, just helping in the shoe shop. And so the relative said, yes, you can, on the condition that you come to church every Sunday.
Yep.
You have to come to church every Sunday morning.
Yes.
So this guy, Unitarian, all right, so he didn't want to, but he said, okay, I'll do it. I need a job.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he went and got the job, go to church. And what happened, he'd go to all-age Sunday school. Mm-hmm. And his Sunday school teacher was a man named Edmund Kimball.
Edmund, I like that name.
You like that name? Edmund Kimball. And to me, Edmund Kimball is a real champion.
Yeah.
But you probably haven't heard of him.
Haven't heard of him.
No. And so Edmund Kimball, for that whole year, taught a Sunday school class. And then the head of the department said, did you ask each one if they knew Jesus? And Edmund said, well, no, I didn't. He's a bit shy. So he made it his point to go around to every single student in his class and challenge them to know Jesus. So he went to this young man at his relative uncle's store, shoe shop, and he asked the uncle, can I speak to this young man? He said, go ahead. So he took him up to the side and shared it with him and led him in the sinner's prayer. That young man was called D.L. Moody.
Ah.
And D.L. Moody became so passionate about souls. Okay, and this was around, it went up all the way through to the 1850s and the 1860s during the Civil War. He was a preacher, went around the area. And Abraham Lincoln came to a city and came to have a look because he had such a student outreach in the area that he actually had up to 1,000 kids on the streets. He'd go and take lollies and feed.
Yeah.
Because what happened, the church wouldn't let him in because too many kids and everything else, the outreach, and it's just politics in church. And he had such an impact upon the street kids is that when Abraham Lincoln came, he wanted to go and see it firsthand, which is quite remarkable in Chicago. Yeah. So, and D.L. Moody had a thing that he would not go to bed until he led one soul to the Lord.
Whoa.
Yeah. Every day. So that means he would be up sometimes to midnight out in the street.
Yeah.
Witnessing until he got one soul to the Lord. That was his. He says that what happened was that after he got saved, he had a preach a prayer about what God could do if you gave him your whole life. And he said, similar to Billy Graham, okay, God, I give you my whole life. Now do something with it.
Yeah.
So through his preaching, he led a guy to the Lord called F.B. Maher. And he became an infamous, well-known Presbyterian preacher, great writers. And F.B. Maher led a young baseball player to the Lord. His name was Billy Sunday. And Billy Sunday, phenomenal souls, phenomenal. He went to New York and had built a timber tabernacle.
Whoa.
For a year during revival meetings with hundreds and hundreds of thousands going through every day, meetings every day. And then it was through Billy Sunday that Billy Graham came to know God. And through Billy Graham,
look at that.
It goes here.
Yeah.
So there's a great link in this whole area. And the Assemblies of God or the Pentecostal movement in Australia used to be a very persecuted group. Until there was a great move that happened around about 68 through to 78. We call it the Charismatic Renewal.
Yes.
And prior to the 68 move, what we call Pentecostals, Charismatic Assemblies of God, were talked of being weird and stupid.
Those weird tongues people.
Well, I remember my first contact with an Assemblies of God person.
Yeah?
I was in grade 7. So what was that? About
60-something?
7. No, I was in grade 7. How old are you in grade 7?
Oh, 13? 14?
12, 13. So I was born in 62. So it must have been 1971, 72.
Something like that, yeah.
And I met this guy. This guy is a good friend of mine. His name was Gary Ship, S-H-I-P. He lived around the road from me. And we went to school together. And I remember we talked about church, and I was a Methodist.
Yeah.
And so the little Methodist church is where the Logan Hospital is today. There's a cattle station up there. It's the farmer, the Armstrongs, just cut out a piece of land for the church.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And so what happened is I said, what church you go to? He said, Mount Gravatt Assemblies of God. I go, what the heck is that? Sounds like a devil worshiper. You know what I mean? So that was my first contact. So the Assemblies of God were greatly persecuted and challenged in the 50s. But then what happened is in 1959, Ed, Billy Graham came to Australia.
Whoa.
And he came and he was just loved.
Yeah.
I mean, he loved. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands. I think still in the stadiums, he still holds the records in Australia for the biggest numbers to come in.
Wow.
Bigger than AFL.
Yeah.
Okay. And people came and got saved. And what happened is he would bring all the churches together.
Oh, nice.
So all of the church, particularly the Baptists, said everyone's welcome except Pentecostals.
Oh, what?
But Billy Graham said this, and he was like the unofficial Pope of the Baptists. Right? He said this, I'm not coming if the Pentecostals aren't invited.
Oh, wow.
And that was in 1959. And that opened the door of acceptance for the Pentecostals.
Yep.
And I just love the whole idea how you can look back in history and see this trace that went about.
Yeah.
And I think of a young Billy Graham, you know what I mean, just saying, Lord, do it again, and do it for me.
Do it again, yeah.
And, Billy Graham has led for his ministry more people to the Lord than anybody else in the world.
Yes.
The second was D.L. Moody. And D.L. Moody didn't have the media and the travel and everything else like that. And I look at it and I see just how incredible the move of God was. And now I wanted to go a lot further into this subject, but I can't because of time. But the fact of the matter is there's just something so powerful. I mean, all my notes here I wanted to go through, but I can't do it because we talked too long in the other areas.
Sorry.
No, it's an interesting subject. But the fact of the matter is that next week I'm going to have Andrew Evans with us.
Yes. And
I was ordained originally under the Assemblies of God by Andrew Evans as the superintendent of Assemblies of God in 1987. I think that's before you were born, Ed.
Yeah, a little bit before.
And I joined the ministry in June of 1981. So it took me like 6 years, 5.5, 6 years before I was ordained through my training. But the fact of the matter is, it'd be great just to have him. He's retired on the Gold Coast, has been for almost a decade. His first wife, Lorraine, died. He did a great work in South Australia and called Paradise Church. One of his sons, Ashley, is the pastor of that one. And his other son, Russell, is the pastor of a church group called Planet Shakers.
Yeah.
And areas there. So, but we'll be having him coming along and speaking. So, anyhow, it's a very interesting story. So it'll be great. So, but this is Billy Graham. And so it'll be just a great thing. So, so it's just interesting to look back.
Yes.
And, of course, Andrew Evans was around. He took over the church in 1970, 71 in Adelaide. And he was a missionary for a number of years in Papua New Guinea.
Oh, wow.
Assembly of God. So he has a great history and he has good knowledge. This is a particular book. I read this book, in 2018 that he had there. So I don't know if there's even any copies. It was written in 2017 published, but I don't know if you can see this particular book. It's called, I Do a Better Job Than Erica. It's called Jesus First, the history and story. So it's a very good book. The life and teaching of Andrew Evans, which is a great area. So we'll be sharing on that next week. Yeah.
It's going to be good.
So I think it'll be a good program.
Yes.
Anything you want to say in conclusion?
It's good. It's great to see just the revival of what's been happening in the past. And, I do pray, do it again, Lord.
Yeah, and it wasn't just do it again, but do it again, Lord, through me.
Through me, yeah.
Which I think is great.
Yes.
And so it's good. We're going to screw people up when I say revival. Just that there's no such word as revival.
It's on the Bible.
You know what I mean? But people like to use it, and it's a catch thing, so whatever. You know what I mean? But we just need a move of God.
Yes. Yes.
And what I loved about our prayer on Tuesday was just the raw prayer.
Yeah.
Singing in tongues, praying in tongues, praying in
good.
the Spirit, the energy. And we're doing it again next Tuesday.
I'm going to try to skip the meeting so I can be in there.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, but this is not based on a church thing saying you have to be there, got to do this. This is based on, do you want to pray?
Yeah.
Do you want to get back to like old school?
Yes.
And I'll be doing it again next week. Shane and I will be there. It'll be next Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Here at the church.
This Sunday at 8 a.m. and 9:30 is the Vision Sunday we'll be sharing.
Yep.
We've got a good book that we have there for everybody. There's some things we want to do, planning.
Yes.
And our theme. We have a theme word we're using for this year.
Yeah.
But we'll release that on Sunday.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. Eric, that's where he turned Erica's mic off.
Yeah.
And then the nighttime of the anointing service is going to be very special, very personal. I think it's going to be the best anointing service we've done.
Yeah.
Because of COVID, we're being creative how we're going to do it. It's going to be great. Well, we love you, and we thank you so very much for being a part of us here. And we so enjoy the opportunity, don't we, Ed, to be able to speak. And we do realize it's a privilege.
Yes.
And we do speak God's blessings over you. We look forward to seeing you on the weekend. Just remember that we will not be live streaming this weekend, purely because it's in-house. We want to share that in the house.
Yes.
But we certainly speak God's peace, grace, mercy, and favor. We speak his health and his abundant joy over each and every one of you. Be blessed. We look forward to seeing you on the weekend, at prayer on Tuesday, and here on the podcast with Andrew Evans.
See you, everyone.